ask you what was that starting point for you? Getting to know your body and syncing with your cycle.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
how was that first inspired in your life?
So I didn't have my period for a very long time, for almost like I would say 5 years. So I actually I got my first period at age 12, and they lasted for 20 days. And it was a nightmare. Like I was in high school, like just being on the chair, like full of blood, like calling my mom, being like crawled in a ball, just like crying because the pain was so huge. So they brought to the gynecologist, just gave me straight the pill. So I took the pill at 12. I think I maybe was on it for like 6 months. I went off it just, because I was so young. And I really started to hate my period since day one. I remember the day I got my period, I was crying to my mom that I didn't want to be a woman. And it makes me so sad when I think about it. And when I met my boyfriend when I was 16, I went back on the pill and I took it for like 3 years, and terrible mood swings. Like I was crying every day for like stupid shit. My skin got worse, like just depression, anxiety, all of that. Like I couldn't, like, it wasn't me. And when I look back at it, when I was like on birth control, it was like my higher self was like the connection was lost with the universe. And I'm reading a lot about it, and they said like your brain, like on birth control, your intuition is lost. And when I got off of birth control, just because I was so miserable, they didn't come back. Like they were just not there. And the first few years it was like, oh, so great, like I can work out every day, like I can do whatever I want, like I can just compete with the men, like always be go go go. And I really got lost in it, being so like really type A and very like ambitious and driven, and just always wanted to achieve more, be more productive. I wasn't never like really present, with myself. It was always, what's the next step, the next thing, the next goal. And in it hit me like I was like, I really have a big issue, like not having my period. And each time I was around a woman that was like, oh, I'm on my period, I was like I was just feeling so miserable, because like it was like I was outside of the circle of women, like left alone. Like it was like I was trying to be a man or something like that. And I started being really to like health and, fitness, like healthy lifestyle, all of that. And I was like, oh, like I'm eating the right food, like I'm working out, like I'm meditating, like I'm doing all those things, but like I don't have a cycle. And it was just huge for me. You are preaching something about like healthy lifestyle, and like the most basic trait you don't have. So I tried everything I could to just bring back the connection. And I did the hormonal test and everything, and it was so stressful for me. So funny story. So like my period, they came back
Mm.
like 3 times. Each time it was because like I was moving country. I used to go like every winter in Los Angeles for like 6 months, and each time I moved there, like they will come back. And each time I moved back to Switzerland, they left. Amenorrhea, like it's the condition of not having your period. Like it can be because you undereat, like you don't eat enough, or like there is too much stress in your life, or there is like trauma. And I had those three things. I was very skinny, doing a lot of sport, not eating enough, and I had some big sexual trauma. And it happened when I was very young, and my brain totally like shut off. And when I was 21, like it came back in my dreams, what happened. And I was like shit, like that's really like the essence of why, like there is this such like weird stuff like going on with everything that has to do with being a female. Like if you've been abused when you were like so young, like I was, I think 8 or 10, and it happened like many times. And I did therapy, I did all those stuff. It really helped. to heal and everything. So that's why I wrote an ebook on it, or I heal myself on amenorrhea. And I just hope like this discussion will be more open for women to know that it's not only the stress or like, if you're under it, like there is a root cause to why you're doing this to yourself. And especially like sexual trauma, like it's gonna have an impact in your reproductive organs.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing and also sharing about it in your book and creating something from that experience and from that knowledge that you gained of your own experience and alchemized it and created something that is beneficial for other women to help them heal
Mhm.
and to understand their own process deeper. That's
Like I feel
incredible.
like there is like for me there were like so much, with my reproductive organ. It's like I didn't want to look at it. It was like there was so much like shame, guilt, disgust about just everything that has to do with a woman.
Yeah.
And so I was eating more, like doing the low impact workouts, like reducing my stress. But I would say like the biggest thing for me was really to heal my feminine energy and just my huge trauma. And that's when they started to come back and like be regular. And when I look back at it, it's funny because it was always, like linked to the moon. Like when they come back, like I don't know, after like 2 years, like it was on the full moon. Like every time it was so like such like a big message from the other side. And yeah, I was able to heal myself because I did a lot of tests and so many like gynecologist, and they all told me like you just have to take another pill. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, there's no way. And I would say because I'm a rising Aries, like I'm so like I knew it. I knew I could heal myself by myself. So like it will take time and I will be patient, but I will do it. And yeah, I am.
That is so beautiful to hear. And you intuitively knew that the whole time.
Mm-mm.
You felt that
Yeah.
in you.
So I'm clairsentient since I'm very little.
Would you like to talk a little bit more about that?
Clear sentence is when you hear something, see something, feel something, or you just know it like deep down. And it's like, yeah, it's all the messages from the other side and like your intuition. And when I was very young, I had a lot of intuitive messages like being sent to me. At age 8, I turned to my parents and I said, like, I will move to Los Angeles. And it has never changed. Like, yeah, I always knew like my soul came here to for a bigger mission, and it has been very clear for me. And it was the same like to heal myself, like I always knew I could do it.
That is so inspiring to hear because it's a motivation for others who also feel that inside of themselves
Hmm.
and who maybe they don't know how to necessarily follow that or to trust it even.
Hmm.
But to hear you and to hear your words saying that you did exactly that is.
No, like it was a long road. Before like I went on birth control, my period were very painful. And like when they will came, like I will be like bleeding so much, so heavily, and like so much pain. And I will just take like medication to go to the gym. Like it's horrible for your body to do that. Like it's just saying like shut up. And I don't know, now when I have my period, like it's such like a beautiful time, to retreat, to hear your intuition, to reflect, to see like the next steps. And I feel it's just so sad that like there is so many women suffering with PMS, and like your period shouldn't be painful. Absolutely not. They should be painless. And it's your lifestyle that is making yourself having PMS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the PMS is literally your body telling you that you're doing something that it doesn't like, that is
Yeah,
not
exactly.
aligned with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I would love for you to explain in simple terms for somebody who is just now kind of awakening to these four phases and the accompanying energy, mood. Yeah.
sure. So you can compare it to like the season in nature. Like the first day of your cycle is the first day you bleed, so your menstrual phase, and it's called like the inner winter. So what is great to it is like warm soups, stews, like, red meat for the iron, mushroom, seaweeds, sardines, really like keeping your blood sugar stable. It's very a great time to retreat, to go inward, so your brain changes also like during each phase of the cycle. So like it's very focused on intuition. Like you can journal, you can meditate. Also with your workouts, like I would take it like down a notch. So I would rather like go on long walks, stretching, yoga, like slow Pilates. It's really a time for yourself. Like give yourself the energy back to you. Stop like giving it to everybody. Then you have the follicular phase. So that's right where like your period ends. And it's like your inner spring, like everything is blooming again. You feel very creative, like very like I would say outgoing. You feel fresh, you feel new, like it's a new beginning. It's a great time to focus on like everything fermented foods like sauerkraut, kimchi, pickles, and like fresh salads, like everything colorful, the rainbow fruits. The follicular is great for cardio. If you don't like cardio, you can still do your strength training or Pilates, but it's just a great time. Like you have a lot of energy. Then after it's the ovulatory phase. And that's the phase where you have like the most energy. It's the best time to do like eat workout. But in the ovulatory phase, it's when it's like your peak in your energy and you feel so outgoing, so out there. You want to meet new people. Like you can just take on the moon and do whatever you want. Like
Hmm.
you have the power. And also, like people see you more attractive during this time because it's with your hormones. Like they can feel that you're fertile, and like it makes you so attractive. And I can tell you, like it is true. Like there is like some research that show that women get more tips when they're ovulating, and your skin is glowing, your hair is beautiful, you feel like dressing up. Then you have the luteal phase, and it's divided between like 2 seconds. So like the first phase, you are still have a lot of energy. You can do like strength training and all of that. But then the second phase is when like most women like feel the PMS, so they start having symptom turning like inward. Like your body is preparing for, shedding the old. So it makes a lot of sense that like 1 week before you will starting to go back into your cave, and like you need more food during this time. It's very important. Most women don't understand, like, oh, but I'm so hungry, I'm just gonna, cut it, I will just have a salad. No, 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 like it's not the time to have a salad. What is great is like a roasted like sweet potato, like really load up on all the carbs and everything. Red meat is also very important. Dark chocolate. It's the luteal phase, 1 week before your period, is very important to lower down your stress levels so that you can have a smooth like bleeding phase. And it's personally my favorite phase because like the progesterone, which is like the calm hormone, like kicks in and you feel like so grounded and calm. So me, it's just my favorite. I love it. Which one is your favorite, by the way?
I don't know. That's a good question to ask. I would say my favorite, maybe ovulation, because that's where you're like the most vibrant and if you're eating well and you're supporting yourself through that time, ovulation can literally be living on cloud nine.
Yeah.
So
And that's also where you have like the most libido.
mm-hmm, yeah.
But it's beautiful because like your cycle, like when you track it, like it will evolve with you and with your lifestyle and with your life choices and everything. Like I know for me personally, like I'm very like high energy.
Mm-hmm,
So when I'm on ovulation, it's like it's a nightmare. Like I have so much energy, like I cannot, like I don't know what to do with myself.
yeah.
But like with times, like I don't know, I started being a little bit better with, I would say, my stress and everything. Get no, like I love it, but I still prefer the luteal phase. But it's so nice. Like your menstrual cycle is like a reflection of what is happening in your life. And also like when you have your period, like, at a certain time, like there is a meaning. Like I don't know if you know that, like when you bleed on the full moon is that your body needs like a huge release, of like energy, like to cleanse your body. And when it's on the new moon, it's like you are in your most fertile years. So you're doing great.
Wow. That definitely, it absolutely makes sense to be thinking of where the moon is in terms of where you are, because it's
Hmm.
just a reflection of one another. And
Yeah,
so you can literally use the moon to tap into learning about your own cycle more, as you
yeah.
just said. Yeah,
So for
that's,
me, like when I started to have like my cycle more regular, like it was always on the full moon because I was like processing so much like, emotion, and like it was a, like difficult time for me. And now they're on the new moon. So it's so funny to watch them, like evolve with you.
yeah, that's beautiful. I love that. I want to ask you, what are the rituals that you do in support of your cycle?
I have so many. I would say follicular phase is really like a fermented food. Like I will very like put an emphasis on like eating kimchi, sauerkraut, pickles, like all the good stuff. And then ovulation, like I will put an emphasis on like cruciferous vegetables, so like broccoli, cauliflowers. It's great for like your estrogen levels. And the luteal phase, I will eat more like dark chocolate. It's very great for like your magnesium and everything. And also to pay more attention to like my, if I crave more foods, and to eat carbs in the evening, to eat enough carbs. And yeah, the luteal phase, like to try to protect my peace, I will say. And the menstrual phase, like I really go into a cave. Like I will really like take the time for myself. I found it very difficult in the beginning to be like, you know what, like I will not be like the most productive. I will just be, like peace out, like in nature. It was very difficult for me because I'm like always like go, go, go. And I preach a slow living, so that's really what I'm trying to do. And it's, you see it in your like, all your body response. It's just like thank you, and like it's just amazing. And also like just like 2 days before my period, like I really have like lucid dreams, but it's very like it's insane. Like what my soul is doing in the evening is crazy. Like I woke up in the middle of the night, like really, it's mind blowing.
Do you journal about that? Like, do you keep a record of these intuitive pings that you have during
I
your
used to do
cycles?
it, but I don't know. I don't want to wake up in the middle of the night to like write something down. But like last week, they were saying some crazy stuff. Like, like I've been with my boyfriend since like nearly 10 years. And in the dream, they told me, yeah, your two souls, like you met in 1818. And like all the other like previous life, you did it together. Like, I don't know, it was crazy, but
Wow. Wow. And did that resonate for you?
yeah, yeah, for sure.
That's so special that you have that opportunity to literally like receive those messages from yourself and
But
like tap into
everybody
that.
can do it. It's just like you have to ask. You really have to ask.
So for somebody who's starting on this journey of theirs, whether, they're trying to sync more with their cycle, more with their womb, and they're not necessarily sure where to start, what would be your recommendation to them?
I would say like just divide like your cycle in half. Like just start to think about it like there is one phase where you have a lot of energy, like you can give to others, you are very creative, like you want to be out there, like outgoing, and like go to dinners and parties and all of that. So follicular and ovulatory. So just start thinking like that, and you will be less hungry. So like lighter meals, salads, whatever you want. And like the second phase, like luteal and menstrual, like it's just you start to become like more introverted and like to go inward and just eat more and rest more. I also notice in myself like I sleep more, like I need 1 more hours like in the menstrual and luteal phase, and just honor that. and start to pay attention. Also, I find it very interesting, do you know what it is, like the cervical mucus? Like, oh, you can track your ovulation. Like, I just find it fascinating. Like, you will be dry and out of the blue, and you're like, wow, and you feel it when you ovulate. It's, I don't know, it's so, what your body does as a female is so powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it truly is. And being able to learn the language of your body and
Hmm.
work with your body in that way to support yourself through these different cycles and through these different phases where your hormones are changing and
Hmm.
just about everything else is changing inside of you.
Exactly. Also, you can do, I know for myself, I did a lot of like funny practices, like to bring my period back. Like, I know I wrote like a letter to my like womb, like
Mm-hmm.
saying how thankful I am, and like just I love you, and like just come back, please. And like it was very like emotional for me to write that. And like I I placed the letter like underneath my bed, just as a sign, like please come back, like I love you, because all of the like your body understand, the messengers and everything. And for like a long time I told my body like I just hate being a female and I hate you.
Yeah.
So they were like, okay, we are gone, you just ask for it. So just start the discussion.
Yeah. Start the dialogue. What hormone balancing tips would you recommend?
So there is two that comes to mind, but I would say one that I really see like that there is like some fear around it. And it's a big cause of like why women some women like are suffering with amenorrhea and like not having their period. Is like you need those carbs, and like it's especially in the evening, like it makes you relax, like it will lower your cortisol levels, and it's so important for your sleep, for your libido, for how your brain works, to have like complex carbs in the evening. I notice it for myself, like I'm so much more like relaxed and grounded, and I'm like fire and air signs. So I need to be grounded. My sleep is so much better because for a long time I used to not eat carbs in the evening because I was like, no, it's not great. Like, I would just have a salad or a soup.
Yeah.
And no, no, absolutely not.
I know that you mention on your page of how your menstrual cycle and your time of menstruation is vital. And so I would love to hear you talk a little bit more about your own feelings of that.
I would say for me now they are so precious. Like I just remember when like when you think about it, like I was the girl in the middle of all of these girls, like complaining about having their periods, and I was the one, I don't have them, and I will do like everything to just bring them back. And for me, just a blessing. Like each month when they come, I'm just so grateful because I remember it almost makes me emotional. Like I remember all the times I cry just on my knee praying to have my periods back because I felt so like unworthy and just like not a woman. And they are so wonderful. Like when you start the dialogue, like they will tell you so many things about you and what you need to change in your life. Like PMS is all about that. Like if you need to ditch like toxic people, like toxic environment, like they will tell you, they let you know like what you need to change in your foods, in your space, like everything. They are such a blessing. And my hope is that women will try to reconnect with their period, and it's so much more than just they're there just if one day if I want to make babies. Like no, ovulation regulates everything, like hair, skin, nails, like your energy, your libido, like your stress, like
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah. I mean, it is what separates us from men, and
Mm-hmm.
it is what makes us as women or as humans with wombs. And the process, too, of menstruating and of that release is
Mm-hmm.
so vital. And I think that I, too, in my life, had kind of tried to just brush over my period or make it not actually feel like it's there,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that I think just about every, and this is a broad statement, but just about maybe every woman ever can think of one point in time in their life where they were like, "Oh, fuck this period.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
want this."
Yeah.
And then you subconsciously tell your body that I don't want this vital part of myself. I don't
Yeah.
like
I
this
hate
vital
you. Yeah.
part of myself. And it's not, of course, and I think you as well, we've now been able to come to a place where I love my period.
I
I
love them.
love my period. I'm so happy when my app gives me the notification, you need to slow down. You need to retreat from everybody. I'm like, yes, let's go. I love it. I love it because it's the time where I'm the not the most intentional, but I'm more intentional
Hmm.
than I might be at other times in my cycle because you are forced to stop, to slow down, to look inwards, to really align yourself with what it is that you're feeling on such a cellular level. Like your
Hmm.
body is literally shedding something that it's been holding for 28 days. And so I love that you make the connection of when you're menstruating to really embody that level of shedding the
Hmm.
month and shedding what it is that your body is asking you to let go of.
And also, like, it's not only like shedding like all the shit for ourselves, but like as light workers, like we shed like also the negativity of the collective, so it's bigger. And I just wished, and like, I just read a book that said like if men like at their period they would be like really like we are the best, we have our period, and make this huge thing about their period, and us women are so just a shame. And I don't know, I would just love for women to realize like you are the portal, like you give life, like like human, it will stop if there were no more women. So like it's so huge, it's the biggest blessing.
What would you tell to somebody who comes to you and is has that shame for their period, has that shame for being a woman and bleeding, period? What is that conversation and that little piece of wisdom, that little piece of love that you could share to someone who or maybe that you could share to your younger self?
I would start to ask question like, is it because of your upbringing? Like I would say most girl that I know, like it's like you got your period and they were just like, oh, there you go, a tampon, like it's gonna be painful, and like you're gonna be like moody, and that's it, that's your period. Oh great, like I'm a woman. Like no, I would say, yeah, start to look at like your family, like in plenty of religion it's like a shame when you bleed, all of that. And I would say to try to understand why do you compete so badly with men. Like for me it was that, and I don't know, I would say it really depends on your personality. Like personally for me, like I'm so divided between like being very like in my masculine and very bold and courageous and almost like harsh, and the other side of me is just so tender, like so such an empath, so sensitive to this world, like. And I just had to make the bridge to stop being like full time in my masculine, because this world like will ask you to be in your masculine. But I believe in the age of Aquarius, like the new earth is female. Like I believe the intuition will lead the way, like I'm sure about it. So just start to tap into your intuition. And I will say sit in silence.
I really do agree with you that this energy of divine feminine and this reclamation too of our bodies, our cycles, and learning ourselves, knowing ourselves in a deeper, profound way than we have been in the past historically. Because if you break it down, boil it down, wherever you are in the world, whoever was in charge of history in the past, it's been patriarchal. It's
Hmm.
been masculine. And so this shift that is literally happening as we speak, this conversation is the shift.
Yeah.
This awareness that we're just putting around the conversation is truly a radical act of change, because
Mhm.
there's someone somewhere who may stumble on this conversation and realize that they never had these thoughts themselves, or that they had these thoughts but they never allowed themselves to go deeper into it.
Mhm.
And so it really is such a blessing to hear you talk in this way, and to also for you to be sharing the work that is so meaningful to you and is so true for you, because you're literally just speaking your truth, and you're just sharing your honest feelings, and it shows, and it's really really inspiring for me, and I am sure as hell it's inspiring for people who know you and don't know you and just see you and see the work that you're doing.
Thank you. And I just wanted to say, it's like your period, they're gonna show up like every month. And I feel like woman in the past, it was just like to get through it, keep going and just, you will suffer a bit because you have PMS, but the time now is not to get through it, it's to embody it. Like there is a message behind your period, like start to listen, start to understand it. It's not only to mask it up, cover it, to shame it. It's really to embrace it, and like it will show you the way, like really.
What is that first step to bridge the awareness between being deeply in your masculine and go 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 and all that comes with that, and then leaning more into your softness and listening and honoring the rest that is necessary, is vital for any human being, but
Mhm.
for women specifically, for humans that have wombs, to listen to.
I will say, like, you have to understand that everything is in life, in nature, is cyclical. Like there is seasons for a reason. Like we need like birth, death, like everything, like the masculine, the feminine, the night, the day, like, darkness, lightness. This duality, like we need it, and you cannot like live in this state of always going and of like almost like this fierce energy. Like you need to retreat to get back to it, like so much better. Like there is a reason. And also with the moon, everything, if you look at it, if you open your eyes, you will see that there is nothing in this like planet that is always the same, like being go 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 all the time. So if you want to bloom, if you want to flower, you need to retreat, you need to to almost like, I wanted to say, like kill the old version of yourself to rebirth and do it all over again. And I will also like start asking yourself those questions of like, why do you need to be so productive? Like why do you need to do that to yourself? And when you look at it, I would say you would go down like very far and see that you have like strong feelings about like worthiness, or like you need to prove yourself, or you are so sensitive that you're trying to make yourself so like you know tense, so strong. Like try to make sense of why you do the things that you do.
Somebody who's living a life that is very fast paced, that is very busy, how can they start to incorporate practices that honor your cycle and that help you to slow down?
I will say first, prioritize your sleep. Second, I will say like the first day of your period, if you can just give it to yourself, if you can just retreat from this busy world and just sit with your emotions, sit with your thoughts, just, yeah, to reflect and to look at your life, that will already be a big step.
I am just so honored to be talking about this topic with you. I've wanted this for a long time, so the fact that it's happened is a dream for me. Melissa,
It's
thank
a
you so
dream for me
much.
too, like really.
Mm, I'm so grateful. Thank you for
Thank you
being
so much.